2012, Olympia, Washington. Epitaph for a hate movement? Every few years or so, somebody announces that feminism is dead. Quote, "The study starkly shows modern women feel traditional feminism is no longer a label they feel proud to wear. It is seen as aggressive, divisive, and doesn't take into account their personal circumstances." Close quote. Net Mums, October 28, 2012. And every announcement is quickly followed by pustulant assurances that, like herpes, the misandrous infection is here to stay. Quote, "I can't tell you how many feminists there are by percentage or geographical location or ratio, but I can tell you that there are a lot, far more than you might expect of a dead movement. I can think of no corresponding concept which critics and media alike are so wildly keen to loudly proclaim dead, finished, over, on the basis of the flimsiest of evidence." Close quote. Laura Bates, The Independent, October 30, 2012. In support of her statement, Bates describes websites where feminists fulminate over the sexist behavior of men. What sexist behavior? Only the worst kind. Ogling. Poor dear, dealing with all those horrible sexist men who are ogling her. Thanks to the hostile environment sexual harassment laws in the United States, it's a problem most American women don't have. Men either. And that's one reason why most women don't identify as feminists. Most women want male attention, and most men want to give them attention. It's normal, natural, and good for the species. It's a biological imperative. Quote, "In 1/5 of a second before the conscious mind has had a chance to react, the male brain has rendered judgment on whether the oncoming stranger is sexually hot. If the ruling is favorable, physical manifestations are immediate. Pupils dilate, heart rates spike, testosterone surges, and the eyes assume a vacant stare, sure signs that the man trance has set in. For genetically pre-programmed men, the offense is as involuntary and natural as breathing," says brain researcher, neuropsychiatrist, and author Luann Brizendine, whose book, The Male Brain, mounts a unique defense for such male indiscretions. Close quote. Robert Cribb, The Star, August 27, 2010. Another reason most women don't identify as feminist, and never have, is because of the hypocrisy. There's no feminist, at least none of the harpies at Ms. Magazine now or any of the myriad of blogs like Jezebel, who would call me a feminist. God knows I wouldn't want to be called a feminist. In fact, during the past 20 years, many feminists have accused me of hating women. Why? Because like most modern men, my very existence exposes them for hypocrites and hate-mongers, because I stand for what they only pretend to believe. Quote, "But to be a feminist, you only have to believe that men and women should be treated equally. It's that simple. Not something many people even stop to think about, much less put a label on." Close quote. Laura Bates, The Independent, October 30, 2012. If they truly believed that, they would all stop calling themselves feminists. The very term is sexist because it's about women, not equality. It's about female superiority. Not the superiority of all women, but only the new rage women who believe in female supremacy. Most women don't identify as feminists because they are better than that. The problem is that, while most women do not actively support or identify with feminism, they give passive support. This is not without precedent. When I was a child, jokes about women's foibles were common, and male superiority was taken for granted. Most men didn't really believe that, but they wanted to believe it and accepted the perks that went along with it. Like the glass ceiling, long since shattered, that feminists still whine about today. Yes, men had privileges in the 1950s, but along with those privileges came responsibilities, like the, "Oh no, you're not going to go there, are you?" Male draft, and the dirtiest, most dangerous jobs, and the presumption that it was the man's responsibility to put dinner on the table. These are among the many reasons why men in the 1960s and on saw male liberation in the feminist movement. By becoming equal with men, women would liberate men from these burdens. But that was never what feminists wanted. They wanted power, control, dominance, and the subjugation of men. and this, too, is one reason why feminism will not die. But the primary and far more sinister reason is because of all the support they get from the wealthy and powerful elites. Feminists disrupt society. They destroy nuclear families, prevent marriage, derail male careers, and, with the notable exceptions of talk radio and the blogosphere, silence the voice of the people. And of course, they are trying to silence us on the web now, too. Distracted, we pose less of a threat to the elite classes. As long as they keep us distracted and disrupt society, feminists will be of use to the elite classes. So the real reason why feminism will not die is that they are useful idiots. 2015, Olympia, Washington. Now, I know and understand the MGTOW argument that feminism is really a manifestation of hypergamy that has nothing to do with politics or anything other than imposing female dominance over men. That argument is not without merit. It does, however, ignore that from the Seneca Falls Convention to the present, feminists have had the support of wealthy elites. Not all, certainly, but some. Why would wealthy men do that? Who benefited the most from female liberation? Not women. The wealthy and high-status men who gained easy access to more women than Casanova could have ever gotten. Who benefited the most from the influx of women into the workplace? Corporations, employers, the wealthy. Who benefits the most from the present war between the sexes? With the economies around the world, including the United States, sliding into a recession that puts an exclamation point on an economic depression that, in the United States, began in 2007, it wouldn't be governments that are desperate to keep the people distracted, dazed, and confused, would it? Sure it could. This is not to say that I reject the MGTOW argument concerning hypergamy. On the contrary, I only reject the part that claims it is the whole picture rather than just one piece of the puzzle. It's natural to grasp for the simplest, most elegant explanations, but life is often more complicated than that. That's all for now. Check out the other videos, subscribe to the channel. For the Backlash at Backlash.com, my name is Rod Van Mecklin.